the 11th chapter starts with Arjuna asking the Lord. In fact, he said that by that speech of the supreme secret known as Adhyatma, which you have spoken out of compassion to me, this delusion of mine is dispelled. He says in the first verse, continues in the second verse, verily this origin and dissolution of beings verily have been heard by me in detail from you, O lotus-eyed, your inexhaustible greatness. So he continues till the fourth verse, and the fifth verse the Lord answers. So we'll continue with the Arjuna speaking. We'll take up the third verse, please. Evametadhyata tattvam atmanam parameshwaraha drashtumichhami te rupam aishwaram purushottama. Evametadhyata tattvam atmanam parameshwaraha drashtumichhami te rupam aishwaram purushottama. So here Arjuna says, oh Parameshwara, Parama Ishvara means the Supreme Lord. It is just as you have declared yourself, I desire to see your supreme cosmic form, O Purusha Uttama. So he uses two pronouns to address Krishna here. He addresses Krishna as Parameshwara and Purushottama. Para in Sanskrit means the higher. So he says, O Supreme Lord, refers to, whenever you use the word Lord, Lord means something which has a lordship or controls. So here it means to all that which the Lord pervades. He refers to his pervasiveness, which the Lord himself has addressed his manifestations analytically in the 10th chapter, which we have seen in the previous chapter. So when he says, oh Parameshwara, he's referring to that. Oh Purushottama means a supreme being. So he's asking the Lord, as the verse is very simple and straightforward, I desire to see your supreme form, which only tells, which we have noted, that Arjuna was not satisfied with the analytical manifestations described by the Lord in great detail. And now he asks for the synthetical manifestation. And even that, I assure you, Arjuna was not satisfied. Because the Bhagavad Gita continues from the 12th chapter till the 18th chapter. So whether it was shown analytically, whether it was shown exhaustively, he showed analytically, and he's going to show it synthetically. The end result is Arjuna was not satisfied. Now you and I, if we place ourselves in the place of Arjuna, why you think Arjuna was not satisfied? In spite of he being given, again, as I said, it's not perception but visualization. He was given a capacity to visualize. He was given the ability to visualize the divine form, yet he was not satisfied. Now, what do you draw from that? It's a very important point. See, in a chapter like this, there are subtle messages that we can pick up, because as we all understand that some other chapters are very intellectual, means there's a philosophical message is very heavy. But in a chapter like this, he caters predominantly to the devotional class of people. So wherever we get certain subtle areas, we'll have to pause and observe. So the question is, why is Arjuna not satisfied with whether be it analytical or synthetical? As we said in the previous class, analytical means seeing the one in all, seeing the one manifestation in everybody, in everything. Synthetically means seeing all in one form. Either way, you see, he saw he was not satisfied, having heard from the very Lord himself. Why? Seguji sent me a message saying he's ignorant, confused. I'm afraid not, sir. Any other idea? Any idea, Sanjay?
Because it's still something beyond the intellectual, the realm of intellectual, and it's still something beyond the realm of even imagination. So it hasn't quite satisfied an even deeper inquiry. So that's just based on the understanding that intellect is one level of understanding. There's still something beyond the intellect.
Okay. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. So therefore, what is your message there?
That we can understand the higher through the intellect, that we can visualize the intellect, the higher.
Sir, if I can pause here, I'm sorry, but you say the intellect couldn't fathom, intellect cannot fathom, but here he was given a divine eye to visualize, and he could see. It's just that he says, having seen the form synthetically, he tells the Lord, "Oh Lord, can you unfold it and please show your human form, because it was too much for him to fathom or digest that grand personality of the Lord." So he saw it. It's not that he couldn't conceive or visualize it. He did so, but yet he was not satisfied. Okay, if I were to give you a clue here, if I were to give a cue, any amount of acquisition of wealth in the world, you will not be satisfied and happy. Do you agree to that?
Yes.
Any amount of wealth. You have a portion of wealth of the world, a small insignificant portion of the entire world's wealth you have. Right? If the entire, is there a figure? What is the entire wealth of the world? Yeah, I don't know whether you can put a figure to that. Of that, how much you have? A point dot person, right? You say, sir, if I can add a few more digits to my wealth, I'll be happy. Okay, I add. And you know intellectually, philosophically as well, you agree with me that there is no satisfaction with any amount of wealth you gather. Right? Now, how would you answer that question? Because answer is the same even to this question.
That you've not really understood what
answer second question.
Okay. That you've not understood, that I've already shown you the complete, but you've not understood, you've misunderstood what complete means. You still think you've not understood that you're already complete.
Which means
that you're still looking
Ah,
You're still looking in the wrong direction. You're still looking.
the search is in a direction where there isn't any happiness, right?
Yeah.
The amount of external pursuit of power, name, acquisition, any external gratification of pursuit is not going to give you happiness. Why? Because happiness is internal, not external. Now, what did Arjuna do? Now, come back to the question. We are saying Arjuna is not satisfied even though the Lord gave him an elaborate detail of his manifestation, analytically, be it synthetically, but he was not satisfied. Why? His approach to Godhood was objective. His approach to Godhood was external. He is trying to find God in all the manifestations of the world. He wants to see the God objectively in a form, but he never asked, give me the ability to discover the Lord within me. Did he? So he did not search for the self or the Atman or the Godhood within himself. The moment the search becomes subjective, instantly you will start experiencing it. You will start capturing the self. You're able to relate, Sanjay? So he was not satisfied because his search for God was external. How many temples do people visit in their life? How many times have you visited those temples on place of worship? I'm not making them any less, please. I'm only just examining our approach. We place God as an object out there, right? When you place God as an object of perception, emotion, and thought, any amount of pursuit, any amount of darshan externally is not going to satisfy you. You're not going to be content with that. But the moment you understand God is not an object, but it is a subject, if that search goes inward, sooner or later you'll find it. But any amount of outward search, you will not satisfy, you will not be contented. You know, you were not there yesterday, and I was just sharing in that session yesterday that I just got back from a quick trip to Rishikesh, and we are planning for a retreat next year. In fact, I'm happy to announce the dates. The dates are from 18th to 25th November 2024. Block your dates and be there with us at Rishikesh. Further details will follow. Sanjay, be there with us, all right? It will be a beautiful experience, I guarantee you. 18th to 25th November. Because I got a confirmation from the Swami this morning, so I'm just announcing it. This early morning, I got that. Very good. Yama says she's blocked it. Now, when I went there, the discussion, the talk was, oh, let's go to Badrinath. Let's go to Kedarnath. I said, yeah, I will come along. You know, the Apara asked me, I'm being very upright. I don't want to put on an act and be someone else. Asked me, knowing me, asked me, Guruji, are you really coming there for seeing the temple, or are you coming there for the whole place and the backdrop and the beauty of the place? I said, I'm coming more for that than the temple. So I see there's spirituality splashed everywhere, divinity is splashed everywhere. Why do I have to confine it in the walls of a temple and say God is only there? Not that I wouldn't bow down, I would bow down with utter devotion, respect, and surrender. But to limit that is not right. So I could go to Haridwar, I could go to Badrinath, I'll go to Kedarnath, I'll go to all dhams, I'll visit all the temples, I'll visit all the traditional temples, all the South Indian, North Indian, all the temples the world over I'll visit. Yet my search for God is not going to satisfy me. I'm not going to become any more spiritual. Please understand that. That's what is the state Arjuna is in. So we should not repeat the same mistake what Arjuna has done. You're hearing from me, but he heard from the Lord himself. You may say, I will listen to a better guru, but that you also can listen to a better guru. But there's no better guru than the Lord himself, isn't it? And yet he was not satisfied. So any objective search is not going to satisfy. That's the hidden message apart from his desire, his earnest ichchami, he says. I wish to, I desire to see your supreme form. All right, move on. Verse 4, please. Setuji, you are sending me your message directly. You must send it to the group. So Setuji also is confirmed other than Jayama when he says no mananam done by Arjuna. Correct. Absolutely, Ushama. I was mesmerized by the mighty Ganges, by the Himalayan ranges, and I was just too awed by the sheer divinity, how it was splashed. It's not that it's not there where you are right now, but it just too the sheer grandness. You fail not to miss it. You don't miss it. So people like less spiritual like us need to go all the way there to feel spiritual. So it was very elevating, no doubt about it. Agree with you. Yes.
Guruji, in spite of the fact that Lord Krishna was giving all explanation and advice till chapter 10 directly to Arjuna. It's a direct samvada between Krishna and Arjuna. Still, why couldn't Arjuna get the lesson from Krishna? It was a very direct conversation. And he was so closely associated with Krishna. So how do you expect me to get the idea?
I believe you are slightly more better than Arjuna.
This is only.
Please don't disappoint me. You are not in that
No, that's
what Arjuna was. So you are we are all slightly better off than Arjuna. Therefore, there's a greater chance of you understanding the message.
Why couldn't Arjuna? What was the lacuna in the? I am trying to find out what could be the block that Arjuna could not get the message directly.
Intellect.
Beg your pardon?
Sir, you must understand, for a student who is not qualified, you need to give adesha. For a student who is qualified, you give adesha. Even when he got adesha, he couldn't understand because it's a direct message being given to him, directly being catered to him. In spite of that, he didn't get a message. He was not one amongst the many. He was the only person whom he was having a dialogue with, and yet he didn't get it. That tells how little his intellect was, or how clouded his intellect was with emotion. He failed to see clarity. But however, the objective of the Gita was not to give moksha to Arjuna, but was to remove Arjuna out of his emotional stupor. And that, to that extent, the message served the purpose. His emotional confusion was dispelled. His intellect woke up. He understood his duty and he performed the battle, right? In fact, there is a reference in the Mahabharata that Arjuna goes up to Lord Krishna and says, you were speaking very eloquently in the battle. I heard you, but I couldn't understand most of it. He said, can you please repeat it? He said, never mind. In the Mother So after reading the whole Bhagavad Gita, again he went and asked, "Can you please repeat?" Krishna said, "I have better things to do than repeating the Gita." You say he said, "Move on." No, his purpose was just to help him out of his condition. We always say, sir, a guru give knowledge to the extent he has discovered. A shishya can receive to the extent his receptacles are open. What are the receptacles?
Okay.
UK, can you tell what are the receptacles that receive the wisdom?
Basically, your intellect, Guruji.
Receptacle.
And, I mean, your 5 organs, sensory organs, Guruji.
Multiple சொன்னீங்க.
It means in the gross manner, it is your sensory organs which receive this thing. And then in the subtle this thing, it's your intellect, your mind. These things which...
You say receptacles, it refers to your manas and buddhi.
Oh, mind, yeah. Okay.
Because right now when you are seated, let's say if your mind was disturbed before the satsang, it would not have given a certain atmosphere for your intellect.
Very true, Guruji. Yes.
Intellect gets little disturbed.
Yes.
Mind is disturbed. So when the mind is calm, so the receptacles are your mind should be calm and intellect should be sharp.
Yes. Yes, Guruji.
So, to the extent these two receptacles are ready, to that extent you'll absorb. But if I'm only giving 30% wisdom, you can't take more than 30 because I'm not giving.
Very true.
I'm giving 70% information, but the wisdom is absorbed by only to the extent your receptacles are tuned in.
Yes. Yes, Guruji.
And what helps the receptacles to be tuned in?
Again, your manana during the Brahma Muhurtam, Guruji.
Don't park in the Brahma Muhurtam.
Okay.
Standard answer people have developed now. Anything I say Brahma Muhurtam. Huh?
That is what we are not able to do, Guruji. That's why it keeps on playing in your mind.
Now, my question is, what is it that helps to tune the head and the heart?
Controlling your mind, Guruji. That is the basic thing.
Is what helps you to tune your head and heart. You need to calm the mind. You need to sharpen the intellect.
Yes.
During transaction, at least. Question is, what helps you to do so, achieve that objective? Harish, any idea? I ask with a certain conviction, you would know because you're doing it, Harish. Sorry,
I need 5 minutes. I'll come back in 5 minutes to you. I'll raise my hand in 5 minutes, Guruji.
Your clock starts now, huh? Asha, Junior.
Is it meditation?
Meditation. Only when your mind is calm and intellect is sharp, you can meditate well, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you have a disturbed mind, meditate?
Not really, but isn't it that the purpose to quieten your mind, or at least to train your mind to quieten, isn't that what meditation, one of the purposes of meditation?
I am afraid not so, because meditation is not meant to calm the mind. A calm mind actually meditates.
Okay.
You don't use meditation as a tool to calm an agitated mind, which is the sad state of the condition of what's happening today. But meditation is optimal spiritual practice. You optimize the practice when your mind is calm. So it's other way around. So it is a prerequisite to keep your mind calm and intellect sharp before you actually sit to meditate. All right. Okay. Yes, Raviji.
Namaskaram, sir.
எங்க சார் ஹைதராபாத் இருக்கீங்களா எங்க
Hyderabad தான் but I'm Hyderabad தான்
மறந்துட்டீங்களா
இல்ல last 2 weeks நான் வெளில போயிருந்தேன் இப்பதான் வந்தேன் again I'm going to Delhi in a couple of days
ரெண்டு பேர் neighbors சார் அப்படி மறக்காதீங்க நீங்க
இல்ல சார் மறக்க மாட்டேனா
ரைட் சார் சொல்லுங்க சார்
see the only thing நீங்க கேட்ட questionக்கு the only thing I can think of is the desire to the strong desire to tune the mind and the heart, the sankalpam, that by tuning the mind and the heart alone I can reach my goal, that sankalpam.
Okay, all right, okay.
The strong desire.
But that is considering you have that desire. Maybe perhaps I would take that as granted. You have the desire, but still you need to do that. So what is that actual exercise that helps you to calm the receptacles? Because or tune in the receptacles. If the receptacles are not tuned in, sir, it's like old days we'll have that radio, no? You are tuning in the radio to receive the transmission.
Tuning.
Even if it's let's say it's 109.8, you don't get 109.6 or 7, you'll not get it. Only a 0.8. It's not digital. It's a monologue. So you will have to fully click that right button so that you're able to receive it. That kind of transmission is only possible when your receptacles are tuned in. The antenna is tuned in. So what
is it through yamas and niyamas and lifestyle habits?
Too broad. In fact, you all are practicing it. So come back to something which you are practicing. Like Ushama, you said you are not practicing Brahmamurtam. Pardoned. That means it's not regularly. I can agree with you on that. But something which you are doing. Okay. Thanks, Raviji. Yes, sir. Harish. That was quick. Quickly, you raise your hand.
Yeah, Guruji, is it by being attuned we need to put our knowledge and wisdom into our daily practice?
Sir, I'm saying you need receptacles to absorb what the Guru is saying. How do you sharpen the intellect and calm the mind? I'm quite surprised. How is it that none of you are able to get the right answer? Being a witness to the happenings around. Subtle intellect. Hariji.
Total Shraddha, gratitude and surrender to the Guru and to the Shastras.
Sir, no. The simple exercise you need to do is the invocatory prayer must be chanted with great fervor. The purpose of an invocatory prayer is to calm your mind and subtleize your intellect. Because before this satsang, all of us have been involved in worldly transactions, right? And you're switching gear from worldly transactions to a transcendental transaction, from terrestrial to transcendental. All of you have given me a whole prescription for spiritual sadhana. Reduce tamas, reduce sattva, get established in trans-sattva. If at all, if I kept quiet for a while, whole Vedanta would have been covered. Sanjay ji, only the invocatory, that's why I said you all are doing it, which is the invocatory prayer. So invocatory prayer plays a pivotal role before the text begins. So that's the reason every text, every guru chants that prayer. And if it's done in its holistic way, it has the capacity to calm the mind and subtleize the intellect. At least for the moment, when the guru is giving the wisdom or the knowledge, you are able to absorb to that extent. We're not talking of strengthening the intellect. I'm talking of fine-tuning the receptacles. The question must be, if you're able to be very clear with the question, the answer, you would have got it. I'm not talking of a sadhana. I'm talking about fine-tuning the receptacles. Okay. Right. Mantra 4, please. Correct. Samyama means warming up. Manyase yadi tachakyam maya drashtumiti prabho yogeshwara tato me tvam darshayatmanam avyayam. Manyase yadi tachakyam maya drashtumiti prabho yogeshwara tato me tvam darshayatmanam avyayam. O Lord, if you think it possible for me to see your imperishable self, then show me thus. O Yogeshwara, if you think it's possible for me to see your imperishable self. Yogeshwara, O Lord, Ishvara, as I said, means the Lord of yoga. Yogeshwara means one refers to someone who has that superhuman facilities. So he's asking the Lord to cast a spell, a charm on him, so that he can visualize his divine form. So it is said the five divine activities of the Lord. Don't ask me where we have got it. It's mentioned, I've learned it, I'm mentioning it. Saringla, neenga note pannungo and you mention it. And the parampara carry pannungo. Human questioning is not allowed. Gayatri, anybody questioning on this, don't allow it. So 5 activities of the Lord. First, creating. Second, protecting. First is creating. Second, protecting. The third is withdrawing. Fourth is veiling or covering. Veiling, V-E-I-L-I-N-G, veiling or covering. And the fifth is revealing. The 5 activities of the Lord. So here, Arjuna is asking the Lord to reveal his form. So this is the 5th activity of the Lord. Again, I said, don't ask me where you got this from. I've learned it, I'm passing it on. Now, vast majority of people actually believe that they have seen God. Just like Arjuna claimed that he saw the Lord's form. And when people claim that, what should you do? Asha Senior. Because he thinks there is a qualification to see the form and he's asking the Lord to show, and the Lord gave and he saw. And that's a conversation we're going to have the conversation of the Lord showing the form, Arjuna saying. So many people like this actually claim to have seen some kind of visualization of a form of the Lord. So when people do share, how do you react to that? How should one react?
Guruji, perhaps it is some instinct.
Mhm.
I don't know, it's some sort of instinct, Guruji.
Instinct. See,
Which
and
tells you it's not the one of the ordinary.
I'm sorry?
It's some rare experience.
Right. Yeah, it is a rare experience, but when people do claim, what can we do? What should be our stance? It's a very tricky situation. That's what I'm saying. It's very tricky. When we intellectually say God is the subject, not an object or a form, and when somebody says, "Oh, God appeared," and there are many stories and parables we hear of great men capturing their revelation. Right? It's a spiritual revelation that they capture. As Swamyama is sharing that, Saint Tyagaraja saw the Lord Rama. There are many such. Paramahamsa, Ramakrishna Paramahamsa conversed with goddess Kali. Now, Jayama, can you tell me? Thanks, Ashama. Yeah, it's a special revelation or instinct, perhaps. Yeah, can say that. Jayama, when you are, as you know, Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, Ramakrishna was actually worshipping goddess Kali. He used to meditate and worship goddess Kali. So when something overwhelms you, consumes your thought, is it not that you actually start visualizing that in everything that you do?
He probably identified himself with that Kali and became one with her. That's why he could have that conversation with her, because there's no difference between him and Kali.
He didn't see a difference. He became one with the goddess Kali. So what is the law of identification or attachment?
As you think, so you become.
As you think, so you become. So when somebody is consumed of something, he automatically becomes one with it. Isn't it?
Yes, Guruji.
So when somebody is visualizing, in most cases, there are exceptions of great men, but in most cases, it's an infatuation. What is infatuation? Raviji, please call Pritima. We need her help. He's literally going on calling her. Please don't disturb her, sir. Now, chumma sonna. Whenever we lost with English, we say, Pritima, where are you? We'll say. Infatuation enna? Oh, Hari Om, Pritima.
Meaning of infatuation is when you're excessively drawn towards something, to someone beyond reason, beyond reason. I mean, it's like a very impetuous, extreme form of attraction, and there is no rationale or reason behind it.
Missed you. Thank you for your wisdom.
No, my phone, I cannot handle Zoom on my phone. I don't know how to, handle it. So I'm listening to you, but I'm not able to participate.
No, I'm actually sitting in the institute and doing the online. So you can walk down here and sit in front of me and listen if you want.
Next time.
Next time we'll have in the hall itself. Right. Thank you. So infatuation, as Amma rightly said, is where when something overwhelms you, when something consumes you, it is an infatuation actually is to a large extent absence of intellect, where the mind gets overpowered by a form or a deity or a thing. That's when you start you start believing that you actually see it. So the right thing to do when somebody claims or proclaims that they have seen God is to not refute it. Because if you do so, you would be unsettling them. And please don't go about unsettling them. When they start asserting some kind of a spiritual revelation or an experience, just respect it. It could be out of a spiritual okay, if they saw, as Jayama said, Ramakrishna Paramahansa saw Kali. Why didn't he see Rama? Why is only Tyagaraja saying Tyagaraja saw Rama? Why didn't he see Krishna? Or why didn't he see any other form? Obviously, because their thoughts were so engrossed, empowered, consumed by that form. So they could actually visualize it. Are you all able to relate to the idea? So it is mind. In fact, what do we say the definition of the world is, Sanjay? What is the definition of the world? Think in the context, answer in the context, please. That will help you to think in the line of thought.
It's a projection of our own mind.
Perfect. So the world is a projection of your mind. And if you keep conditioning or influencing the mind with a particular thought, what happens?
You project that into the world.
You only see that.
Hmm.
So if somebody comes and sees, I saw Subramanya, or I saw Lord Balaji, or I saw so and so, that means that man is conditioned by that particular thought. So he starts projecting he starts looking at divinity only in the form of Lord Balaji or Lord Rama or Lord Krishna or Mother Kali or Goddess Kali or whatever, or Lord Ganesha. Infatuation leads to trance. So the effect of it is you get completely lost in trance. And trance, as you know, is not a spiritual. It's not measure. It can't be measured as a spiritual growth, or it's not a quality of a spiritually evolved person getting into trance. Swamiji talks of when he was with Swami Chinmayananji, there was a lady somewhere from Europe, and she was a student then. She used to say she used to get into a trance looking at because she had a pet, and she used to have a conversation with the pet. And in the ashram, pets were not allowed in the Powai ashram, Chinmaya mission. And Swamiji had to find out how is it this student is having a pet in the room. And upon further investigation, she introduced the pet to the Swami. You know what was the pet? The pet was a gecko. Gayatri, you know what a gecko is? Gecko. If you can Google it and somebody can share what gecko is. You only Google and you only show us. It's a bigger type of a domestic lizard. What we see common lizards, gecko is slightly bigger. Have you seen a gecko, Sanjay? You know, I visited Bali 15 years ago, first once. and I was staying in an ashram. I had gone for some lecture there. I was staying in an ashram, and I couldn't sleep those 3 days because that it is very common there to find geckos, and geckos were there all over. First of all, I get paranoid with the lizard. And now this was almost inconceivable for me to live with a gecko. Almost I was sleeping outside and the geckos were inside the room. And that lady, Gayatri is a big kind of a lizard, Adananjungo. And it's common in certain parts of the world, very common. Unlike here, I don't think we see geckos here. But she had a gecko in her room as a pet. And she used to have a conversation with the gecko. So much so, she used to look at gecko and get into trance. It's like some people look at a sunrise or a sunset or a flower and go into raptures and beauty. She used to keep looking at a gecko, and sometimes she used to bring the gecko out and put it on a branch or a twig and then keep looking at it, gazing at it. Kind of a meaningless infatuation is trance. You get stuck into it. In fact, trance is a mental weakness. It's not an intellectual strength. It doesn't come from wisdom, please. So we mistakenly attribute it as a spiritual quality, but it's not. So the Lord is being asked by Arjuna, if you think it's possible to show me your form, please show. And the Lord agrees to Arjuna. Verse 5, please. Shri Bhagavanuvacha Pashya me partha rupani Shatashrotha sahasrashaha Nana vidhani divyani Nana varna krutini cha Shri Bhagavanuvacha Pashya me partha rupani Shatashotha sahasrashaha Nana vidhani divyani Nana varna krutini cha. Shri Bhagavanuvacha, the Lord spoke after a gap of few verses. Behold, O Partha, in hundreds and thousands my divine forms of different kinds and of various colors and shapes. Nana varnani kritini, various colors and shapes. Nana vidhani, divyani, divine in different kinds, different forms, divine forms in shatashaha, in hundreds, sahasrasaha, thousands. In the 4th chapter, Arjuna is asking, if I'm qualified, if you think I'm worthy, please show. Earlier to Hariji's point, I said we are far more evolved than Arjuna, far more evolved. Relatively speaking, on one side we say this, and yet Arjuna was considered worthy of this, not because he was a dear friend of his. Perhaps Krishna considered Arjuna as qualified in all ways, may not have considered him to be qualified in all ways. But at least he was very devoted, right? And also he had the genuine desire to see the God objectively. Since he had a genuine desire to see the God objectively, for the Lord to show his form, and he was very devoted, the Lord considers him worthy and qualified. So he says, O Partha, Arjuna, see, you're going to see my form. Yes, Annapurnama?
Pranam Guruji.
Hari Om, Namaskar. Ma.
Namaskar Guruji. Actually, in this conversation, Arjuna is a human, but they all know that Lord Krishna is Lord. Like he is not an ordinary human being. But when Arjuna can request Lord to reveal his form, and when it is possible for the Lord to assure him to reveal his Vishwarupam, why any kind of perception by our saints like Paramahamsa or Tyagaraja, that should be taken as trance? Why couldn't it be real? Why it could not have happened for real?
No, that's why I appreciate your questioning. I did mention this, when people of that extraordinary caliber, when they have visualized it, but they visualize it because they worship the God, they looked up to a God in a particular form. For example, the great Tyagaraja looked at Lord Rama as divinity, right? So he could visualize the Lord. I am not denying that. Therefore, I said in most cases, in all cases, we should not deny or refute it. But in most cases, it is actually trance. But in extraordinary cases of these great men, it's actually a spiritual revelation for them. It's actually that they have evolved to that high state that they conceive the God, or they visualize the Lord in a particular form. So it either could be infatuation, which we say is a quality which, what is infatuation? Where the mind overpowers. So where it is pure devotion, is the mind plays a role there. There is not necessarily intellect plays a role, but the mind predominantly plays a role. So infatuation leads to trance, but it's not the same with reference to these great men. When they have revealed the self, they almost attain realization, but they express that experience of realization through worshipping of a particular form. That's all right, you know.
Thank
So
you, Guruji.
we're not denying it, but my answer to it is we should not refute it. We should not deny or refute it.
Thank you, Guruji.
Yeah, most people, when they claim to see, it is only emotional play. That's all I'm saying. Okay, ma'am?
Okay. Thank you, Guruji.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. In fact, if you know the conversation between Narendra and the great Ramakrishna, you know, when the great Narendra, who became Vivekananda, Vasantama, you know the conversation between, what was the question which Narendra asked every guru?
Not able to recollect, Guruji. I know.
Not able to recall. Fair enough. Shivaji, no problem, no?
Can you see God?
He went up to every guru and kept asking, have you seen God?
Have you seen God? Can I also see? Yeah.
Can you see God? Have you? Because no, he wanted to only go to a guru who can claim to have seen God. Because he didn't want to waste time. If he had come to me, I also would give a lecture to him. God is not an object for me to see. What are you talking? And then here I would dismiss. So many gurus gave a lecture like that. But when he went to Ramakrishna, what did Ramakrishna say? He said, I see you as vividly. I see God as vividly. I see you standing in front of me. That very moment, he considered him as his guru. And then what did Vivekananda preach thereafter? He said, God can't be seen. If you listen to his works, he says, he confesses, that's the truth. God is not something which can be seen. So look at how you're able to convey a message.
Depending upon that level of the person who is receiving it.
Yeah, absolutely. So
in fact, Buddha is sort of given two different answers. One in the morning, somebody said, can you see God? He says, yes. Evening, somebody comes, Can I see? Why I am not able to see it? You cannot see it.
So
It
you
depends
only
on the
talk-
person who is.
So you only talk to me in the mornings. You come and ask me in the evening. I also give all ulta answers evenings. But that doesn't mean I become Buddha. Don't, vice versa is not true. Saringla? No, yet it's true. What you're saying is right. So you need to have that wavelength to be able to
Understand.
with the student. Perfect. So let's see what the Lord starts revealing. Right. Pashyaadityan vasoon rudran ashwinnau marutasthatha bahun yadrishta purvani pasyascharyaani bharata Pashyaadityan vasoon rudran ashwinnau marutasthatha bahun yadrishta purvani Pashyascharyaani Bharata. Behold, 12 Adityas, 8 Vasus, 11 Rudras, twin Ashwins, also 49 Maruts. Behold, O Bharata, many wonders never seen before. So, Krishna started to show his cosmic form. So, all of this 12 plus 8, 20 plus 11, 31, 31 plus 2, 33, 33 plus 49. What is 33 plus 49? 82. In one verse, he has shown 82 forms in one form. Oh my God. It's just starting. Now, when you start adding up all the things and you put in one form, oh my God, it is bhaya. You can't. He was terrified. Now, what are these Adityas, Vasus, Rudras, Ashwins, Maruts? Please refer to the 21st and 23rd verse of chapter 10, where he had shown it analytically. We have actually analyzed what they are there. No? So it could be symbolic or it could be actual, but here it is all, he says, these are the forms, many wonders that you have not seen before. So these are all the various kinds of celestial beings. Some of us may not even have heard them, but these are the celestial forms that are very common or very prevalent, very known to Arjuna. So he starts showing them. And I'm afraid I can't show you. I will only mention to you. We'll have to figure it out what they are. 7. See, you will realize there is not much philosophy. It's just a matter of mention. And I need to be upright. Don't have to add masala there. Ihaikastham jagat kritsnam pashyadya sacharacharam mama dehe gudakesha yachanya drashtumikshasi Ihaikastham jagat kritsnam pashyadya Sacharacharam mama dehe gudakesha yachanyatrashtumikshasi. Behold now here in my body, O Gudakesha, Arjuna, the whole world with the moving and the unmoving centered in one. Chara, achara, moving and moving. And whatever else you wish to see. All the moving refers to the living beings. All the unmoving refers to inert objects. And he says this is only limited to the world. The entire world, if you wish to see anything beyond the world, also you can see. Look at that. How gracious the Lord is to Krishna Arjuna. Oh, Gudakesha. You know what Gudakesha means, Sanjay? one who has conquered his sleep, he says. Gudakesha means one who has conquered his sleep. So here he's saying, don't sleep to my form. You wake up, you asked for it, now wake up and see this form. It's a rare opportunity you've got. Don't miss that opportunity. I'm showing it. Take it. So Krishna is saying that you can see beyond everything that I'm showing to you. See the whole world, other wonders in one form. Frankly, I am not inspired. I wouldn't ask that. However, Arjuna has asked, so he is being shown. Do you have a picture of that, Gayatrima? We have put somewhere, no, in the classes. You all have seen that form. Sanjay, you've seen that form somewhere or there? You have, haven't you?
In that Facebook also we put it, and this also, Guruji. I'll just 2 minutes.
First we go to Wisdom Foundation Facebook page and see. That's where we put it. Correct? Huh? Harish, have you seen the form, at least in picture? No. At least picture you should see, Harish. Never mind. It should be something very easy to get. Just say, type out. For that, you don't have to say Mahabharata serial, please. Please Google, and for those days there was no Google, so you have to see. Now you can Google and say, show me Vishwarupa Darshan form. You'll get it. Multiple pictures you get. Just you can visualize what it is. So everything in one. 8th verse. Natu mam shakyase drashtum anenaiva swachakshusha divyam dadami te chakshuhu pashyame yogamaishwaram. Natu mam shakyase drashtum anenaiva swachakshusha divyam dadami te chakshuhu pashyame yogamaishwaram. Now, having started revealing, he says, but you cannot see my cosmic form with these eyes of yours. I give you the divine eye. Behold my supreme yoga. Yogam Aishwaram. Divyam Chakshu. So there is a mention of 2 eyes here. I will give you the special yogic power to see through that divine eye. The same was provided by Vyasa to Sanjaya, which is being provided by the Lord to Arjuna. We have mentioned this before. There are 3 kinds of eyes. One is the physical eye that you and I see. There's known as the Golayas. The physical eyes, the gross eyes, now you're using. The second are the mental and intellectual eye, where you're able to identify someone's emotions. You're able to feel, whether you're able to think from other person's perspective. The third is the spiritual eye or the divine eye. Throughout the Gita, the famous words of the Lord, he keeps saying, the famous words is, he says, Yah pashyati sa pashyati. He who sees it, Arjuna. Every time he kept speaking the truth, he kept saying, I can't give you that vision. If you have the ability to see, you will see it. So you want to visualize the transcendental, you need that divine eye. Now, this divine eye, where do you get the divine eye? Vasantama, where do you get it?
We need to perceive the subtle.
Yeah, in order to perceive the subtle, we need the divine eye. Where do you get the divine eye?
Through the knowledge and
Okay. I will not pursue further inquiry. I will ask UK. Noah. No.
I'm not sure, Guruji.
You know it. That's why I'm asking you. Where do you find the divine eye?
In your conscience, Guruji.
Another?
In your conscience.
Conscience, the divine eye. Like
that, I mean, that is what is the voice of God and things like that, no, Guruji.
Voice of God. I'm saying eye of God.
Eye of God is only, no, Guruji, I'm not very sure.
You call it as the third eye, no? Looking at the world from a different perspective. You gave an answer no earlier. What is that answer?
Say, is the intellect, Guruji? I'm not sure.
What is your favorite answer?
Is it the intellect, Guruji?
What's your favorite answer?
I'm not sure.
Yes? Where do you find Jnana Chakshu? Gayatri Ma?
Symbolically, people say on the forehead, but Jnana Chakshu has to be developed.
Where do you find it? Where can you develop it? When can you develop it?
Manana, early morning.
Brahma Muhurtam. Your favorite answer, Ma, Brahma Muhurtam. That's what we say. No guru can give you the Jnana Chakshu. That eye of wisdom, nobody can give you. It is something you will have to invoke it through sadhana when in the Brahma Muhurtam. It is not beyond that time, I tell you, I guarantee you, you can't get it. So Brahma Muhurtam is the time where you invoke that spiritual eye, where you ignite that spiritual eye, where you gain that spiritual vision to be able to attune to the transcendental. So it's again symbolic when the Lord says, I give you the divine eye to behold my supreme form.
Guruji, I got that photo. I can show you the divine form in the computer laptop.
Yeah, please show, please show. They'll all will visualize it 4 a.m. tomorrow morning. I am telling you, can only see Brahma Muhurtam. She wants to show in the laptop. Utter disrespect to the Guru. Never mind. Show it. Sanjay, we want to replace Gayatri Ma. Can you please come and replace her? Full screen bodungo. Full screen, sorry. You get a glimpse of what it is. So on one side you see all the deities and the kings and the the rishis. In fact, this is a very pleasing form of the Lord. In certain forms, you see one eye is the sun, other eye is the moon. Some people are stuck in his teeth. people coming out of the ears. It's too terrifying. You know, Hariji is refuting what is being shown here. What?
In Vishwarupam, it shows all the Rudra, not only the pleasing, then very various people extending their tongue, and it is Rudram. And yeah, it shows the whole world, how it is the universe.
Sir, even
is-
Lord Krishna, isn't there a story that, when he was a Balakrishna,
Yeah,
somebody went and complained to his mother that Krishna is chewing mud. So the
True.
mother wanted to punish little
everything.
Balakrishna. And when he opened, the whole world was revolving in his mouth.
Yes, yes,
She saw that and she fainted.
yeah.
So,
This
it
is
again-
not Vishwarupam.
huh?
This is not Vishwarupam, according to me.
Correct, sir. நீங்க
Yeah.
அந்த different version கொடுங்க.
Yeah,
Vishnu-
I will try to. It
Yeah.
is all his Rudrabhavam, that only when Arjuna sees all these things, he said, it is enough, you please withdraw
Sir,
this and
Sir,
come.
please understand, 8th verse, this is what will come for Vishwarupam. In the 15th verse, Vishwarupam form will change. In the 20th verse, Vishwarupam, all addition is coming, we are adding, sir. நீங்க வேற whole don't care about. Anxiety இருக்க கூடாது. Step by step, we will get there. In the 8th verse, this is what is Vishwarupa Darshan. He mentioned Marut's and Ashwin's Ada, we have incorporated. Now, further additions, please await. Okay. All right. So, as I told you, the philosophical kernel is less, but there is room for other aspects for us to take note of. So, we will run through this chapter with much ease, I believe. So, we will come back and continue next week. Thank you. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Guru.